welcome. In this lecture, I want to go through kind of what kind of definition the ring definition is, in the sense of kind of really how you're going to use it and prove things about it. So here we go. So the formal ring definition is what I call, this is my own terminology, I call it a checklist definition. So the formal ring definition is a checklist definition. And this is a name that I came up with at some point because a lot of students were struggling to understand how you prove that something satisfies a definition. And so I kind of thought about it, and I was like, there's different forms of definitions. But a lot of the ones we deal with are what I would call like a checklist definition, meaning it has like a list of properties, right? The ring definition had this whole long list of properties. So how do you verify that something satisfies such a definition? So how to verify something satisfies. Okay. Well, what you need to do is that, okay, so first you need to check it's the correct kind of object, okay? If a definition is some kind of set, then you better make sure you're talking about a set and you're not talking about a function, right? Or something like this, okay? So check it's the correct kind of object. Right, so that's the first thing, and then check that it satisfies. Right, so first you need to check that it's the correct kind of object, then you need to check that it actually satisfies each of those properties it's supposed to, okay? And check that it satisfies each of the properties okay, and when I say each, I mean, right, you're going to have a little proof for each one of them, really. Okay, so we'll have a proof for each one. So it's kind of going to be like you're going through this checklist, and you're like, yes, it satisfies this property. Yes, it satisfies this property. And you're just going to go through them one at a time, but it has to satisfy all of them, okay? So you can't miss any of them, or you're not whatever that definition is, in our case a ring, okay? So what happens if you know something satisfies such a definition? So if you know that it satisfies, then what does that kind of tell us about what kind, we can kind of do in our situation? Which is that we can assume or use, so can assume or use that it satisfies the properties to show new things about it. Okay? So you can use each of those. Like you have a whole list of properties that you can use. Oh, I have addition. Okay. Like, I have commutativity of addition. Okay. Anytime I have addition, I can kind of swap and things like this. Okay. I want to kind of add something in here. Is that how to show it's not satisfied. Oh, I went that there. Okay, so how do I show that it's not satisfied? So if I want to show that it's not satisfied, all I need to show is that there's one property that fails. Okay, so just show that one property fails. The rest could be, can happen, but just show one property fails. So, this is a very common kind of definition. It's in like what I call a checklist definition. Why? Because when you're proving that it satisfies, like you're going down this checklist, right? Oh, does it have this property? Oh, does it have this property? Oh, does it have this property? You're just kind of going through, but you need to actually kind of prove that each of those is satisfied. And then how do you show that it's not satisfied? You just show that one of those properties fails, because it would have had to have satisfied all of them in order to not to. We've had to have satisfied all of them in order to have, been that thing like a ring. Okay? But if you know it's satisfied, then you have all these properties to work with, which is like the ring definition has a lot of things to work with. And there's actually a lot of things that satisfy it. So it's kind of nice to have something, where you have so many properties to work with. Okay, so I hope that made some sense and was helpful, and I'll see you in the next lecture.